In today's video, we're going to go over 10 of my favorite mods to make your bike not only hunt ready, but a better way to secure your gear, get you in and out of the field faster, better, and more efficient. So let's get to the video. We'll start with number one on how to actually mount your bow to your bike or your gun. And there's no cool factor in this, but if you guys see, I've got the basket up front. It's holding the bow steady. You can see we're going down a gravel road. This would be typical as what I will experience in the out-of-state hunting that I'll be doing. We did order the Copeland gun bow holder, and you can mount it to the bars. The problem with the stock bars is there's really not enough real estate to actually mount them. So if you can see the bars on this bike, they're actually what you'd call a riser bar. And guys, I'll put all the links to this down below. Yes, they are affiliate links, and I'll get a half a cent or something silly if you order through the links below. But I'm just doing that to make it more convenient for you. But back up here, the reason that I ended up tying the bow to the front rack is twofold. I want to be able to be as quiet and quick and efficient as I can be. You can see the bow's being held on with two rock straps. Those rock straps I've used over almost the last decade for moto camping trips and everything else. I've never had one fail me. One of the benefits to the rock straps is you actually get a bungee cord with a quick release strap all built into one system. And you can put as much tension on it as you need to hold it. But as you can see, this road, we're doing 10 miles an hour, and I purposely picked this out because it is kind of rocky. But do you hear all that? And that's why I like it. The green foam that you see is actually a rod saver for kayak fishing people. It's a way to, it's a little deal that you put on your fishing poles, so if you flip your kayak over, your fishing pole will float instead of sinking to the ground, or sinking to the bottom of the lake, I should say. So those are just really cheap. They're easy to put on. Now the riser bars are actually twofold. If you can see, I can actually steer this thing as tight as I need to, and the bow's still pointing forward. You're not affected by how much you turn the wheel at all. And the bow's still facing in the right direction. The problem that I didn't like about the Copeland bow rack is it's twofold. It's difficult to get the bow out. Now when you get it in there, it's going to hold your bow secure. And then also with having it right above the handlebars, it kind of cuts down on your view, what you're actually seeing when you're riding. So it's going to be harder to drive your front wheel into a thin spot. Like, let's just pick this out right here. Stay right on this little ridge. It's going to be a little more difficult to do stuff like that because it's harder to see the front end with that bow being right up here. The next item that I think is going to be a necessity and a true game changer for helping you out in the field is these little Pannier bags. These Pannier bags are actually pretty cheap. I didn't want to spend a whole bunch of money on them, but the one thing that I truly like about these in particular, let's disconnect this. That's got a solid piece of webbing that ties one bag to the other. So you don't have to worry about, these do have the little latches, but it does not fit on these the Pucky Pup rack. It may fit depending on what brand of e-bike you got and you're using, but that solid strap holding the two bags together to me was huge, and that's why I went with these. They're 40 liters, which is going to be plenty of room. We've talked about it in a previous video about this bike not being 100% waterproof. Most e-bikes aren't, so you can actually carry, on one side, it'd be real easy to put your bike cover in there. On the other side, we've actually got a tarp. You can carry the bike cover, and then we've also got our little cleaning kit on the other side, and I'll show you that real quick as well. Okay, so back on this other side, we've got, and these are allegedly waterproof as well, but here's our cleaning kit, and that's got, if you guys have never seen our cleaning kit, I can do a whole video on that, but it's got a couple of pulleys and a bunch of paracord and rope so that you can string the deer up. I've also got a couple of knives in there, as well as rubber gloves, that type of stuff. And then you can also carry your tarp on this side as well, in case it starts raining. And oddly enough, we're doing this video and I keep getting sprinkled on, so I'm not venturing too far away from the house in case I need to make a mad dash home. This storm's just kind of lingering all around us here. One more thing while we've got the bike stopped and we're going through the bags. This is that neoprene battery koozie I was telling you guys about. And it attaches with Velcro around the battery. Most of us, when we go hunting, it's going to be actually cooler weather, if not cold weather during hunting season. So that's going to help extend the life of your battery by keeping your battery warm. And while we're back here at the back of the bike, you're probably asking, well, Dale, where are you going to put your tree stand or your hunting bag or your saddle hunting equipment, your platform, that type of stuff? This bag right here is going to have to come off. So my plan for that is we're going to buy a smaller bag that'll fit right inside this basket and put all the stuff that I normally carry in there up front and center up here. This should also give us a little more padding. If you notice, I've got the quiver on this. It's not on the bow, but this is a close-up of how these rock straps work. It's got this bungee cord built in, so it's always pulling. And again, you can adjust that tension to however tight. But this bow's not going anywhere. But let's just say that you're riding along and you see a bunch of deer cross the road up in front of you, and you're like, hey, if I get in this tree row right here, I can run down there and maybe cut them off. Look how quickly your bow's off now. Now you're ready to go through the woods with your bow. It's that quick. You're not going to be able to do that with the Copeland. I really like the design that the Copeland has. I wanted something that's going to be real easy, real quick to access. If you guys have ever rode up on a deer with your e-bike, because they are quiet, you know what I'm talking about. And again, like I mentioned, there is nothing cool factor wise about this basket, but functional, quiet, holds your bow. One of the other complaints that you're going to see if you do much research on trying to carry a bow specifically is a lot of times people are complaining with those other racks. If you don't have the fender up front, you're going to end up getting mud and stuff on your cables and your string, which could mess up your hunting. So you can see this is definitely covered here. We may end up putting a little bag on here on each end. I'll make something out of leather or whatever, just to cover the bow, because when you turn left or right, you still do have the potential, even with the fender, of flinging some mud up on your cams or something like that. You don't want that. While we're off the bike, I want to go over this real quick. These are the Rock Bros. Right now, they're on sale for they're less than 30 bucks. I don't remember. I'll put a link down below for you. But if you can see how tall these spikes are, these are actually some pedals that are affordable. They work. They've got bearings in them. They're not junky pedals. But those studs are going to help you keep connected to your bike, especially if you've got muddy hunting boots on or larger hunting boots. These pedals are actually much wider than what your stock ones are, and you get a lot more of a connection point using a pedal like this over the stock ones. Your stock ones, you're probably going to slip off of, which is going to cause some shin pain or calf pain or potentially some other pain. While we're off the bike, we'll go ahead and go over this real quick too. These tires, I've told you in another video, they're unbranded. But if you'll look, I've already worn these tires out, and I've got a little over 200 miles, not quite 250 yet. I've already got tires ordered, as well as the Tannis liners, Tannis tubes, and the flat out. And that's going to be my plan. Where I hunt at back, especially in the out-of-state hunting, it is loaded. I mean, loaded down hard with stickers. I'm trying to triple protect myself between thorn-proof tires, Tannis liners, Tannis tubes, and then lastly the flat out. We'll be putting that in. I was originally going to go ahead and trade these out, but since we still got another month or so of riding before we go to start hunting off of this thing with our bow, I'm going to wear these tires out before I replace them. I'll get my full 50 cents out of these tires. One other thing where we're talking about getting your e-bike ready, we've already discussed these riser handlebars, but this stem on this bike, and this is going to be specific to this bike, but this top cap and stem bolts, there's not enough space in here to actually hold this adequate. And I'm going to put my hand on here so you can kind of see this. But there's about a 1/16 or an 1/18 inch of movement there, because these, every time I tighten this up to specs, torque it down, and we ride down a little rough patch of gravel like I just showed you at the start of this video, this thing will loosen up. So hopefully, I've sent them an email, but they haven't replied back to me yet. But I went ahead and ordered a new stem, which is actually a little bit tighter because this tube is cut too short. So this top bolt up here, and again, this is specific to the Golden R, this top bolt is barely catching onto this tube at all. I've tried moving these spacers, and that may be something that you can do, because I did order a new spacer kit as well, but it really, you need a half-size spacer down here, and then you could get that to where this actual pinch bolt up here would actually be pinching onto the fork tube. It's barely on there right now, and you can definitely tell a difference when you're torquing these down. This one, it doesn't take long to get to the torque, but you can feel this one, and you can even look at the spacing. The spacing is much closer up here because it's just simply not grabbing a hold of that tube like it. It's an easy fix, and it's something, I'm not a bike engineer, that should have been caught at the factory, but I know I'm not the only one that has this problem with this loosening up. Again, if Pucky Puppy does get back with me and offers up a solution that would actually work, well, I'm waiting on them to see what they're going to say. But as of this video, I have not gotten a reply back, and I know that I'm not the only one with this Golden R. The problem is this motor down here, the front motor, which is all-wheel drive, is just way too heavy for the standard star nut and this. It's just not working. So anytime you start riding, this whole front end loosens up, and that's what all that creaking and rocking is. I mentioned it in a previous video to ask them if they knew what was causing it. I know what's causing it. I'm just waiting to see if they'll reply. And then, as I've mentioned in a previous video, these gears are really tall on this bike. I'm not going to re-gear it. I'm looking at another solution for the gearing problem and the waterproof problem on this bike. And if that comes to fruition, we'll do a video on how to get that fixed as well. This right here should be a real good example of how well these rock straps are going to hold your bow. This road right here is really rutted up. So you got a bunch of whoop-de-doos going through here. And it's just overall a rough. And all that creaking that you're hearing, that's that front end. It's not the bow. I keep seeing copperheads on this road. I'm not sure. I guess we need to name it Copperhead Road. Copperhead Road. It's a good name, ain't it? It's a good song. But I'm telling you, that's probably, in my opinion, one of the better ways to mount your bow. Again, there's no cool factor with that front basket. I wish there was a rack available. I think the rack would at least be a little bit more sportier than this. But the basket's working, and then also, like I said, I'm going to have to find a bag to fit inside that basket, because I've got my miscellaneous tire repair kit and miscellaneous mountain bike tools and all that stuff in that rear bag right now, which will not work for hunting. Well, that's going to do it for our 10 mods that we've done to this bike and or already have purchased for this bike to get it hunt ready. Comment down below and let us know what is your favorite mods that you've done to your bike or your e-bike to get it ready to go hunting. Again, I'm hoping that the Pannier bags will keep us from having to mount a trailer. I hope you all have a blessed week, and let's get outside and make something happen. Here's your little tip. If you listen to this, right here on the edge of this grass, it's a little bit rougher, but a lot more quieter than this. If you have an area like this that you can ride on, sometimes there's enough grass that you can ride on, it'll make it more quiet. But when you're in this gravel, it's just a lot noisier. So if you'll ease over to the edge of most of these little roads like this, you can tell there's a huge difference in how quiet the bike is now versus we get out here on this gravel. All right, this is probably the roughest track of road around here for where I'm riding. And I want to show you, basically what I'm showing you is how well these rock straps will hold your bow, keep it from clanging and banging around. However, you still got quick access to your legal means of taking game. In our case, I only bow hunt. As we close this video out, I did want to point this out because I actually forgot to tell you this. If you notice, this is the thumb throttle for the bike. It's over here on the left-hand side. On this particular bike, it comes stock on the right-hand side over here, and then this all-wheel drive switch, which is right here, comes over here on this side. For any of you guys that are, and we're going to use the word strong hand, I'm right-handed. I'd rather be able to throttle with this side, just in case I needed my strong hand for something, bear spray, whatever.